what he's saying. Okay. I'm not holding, brief for the government of Lagos State, but I'm just saying that, when they say in our parlance here, it talk jam, there are some people, thank you. There are some people that just, when they are so eager to put something out there, there is something to say. There is a way and manner you'd say, and there is a way people proceed. Now, as recruitment of media aids, I always advocate for whether you're a governor or you are a professional of any sort, if you want to recruit a media aid, ensure that the person you're recruiting is a professional, not just a party loyalist that you want to throw in one office and you want to compensate for all that he did or all that his godfather did for you while you were campaigning. So it's very important that as a media aid, you know how to talk. And this is why I have issues sometimes with, the police PRO, how it talks online. Yes, you might say, oh, this is my account, but then you represent, the first PRO. But you represent an institution and you have to continue to abide by the principles of your office as a public relations officer. You do not see people as the enemy. There is a way you talk. There is diplomacy. There is how you put out what you want to say out there. I used to tell people that you can tell someone that he is stupid without necessarily calling him stupid. It's true.
Spain masters.
So I don't know why, as a media aid, you understand the effect or how grievous those words are. The people that committed arson during the last NSAS protest, they have been found, they have been hunted, they have been executed. It's not enough.
In fact, this is what he said. He said the full story of people who burnt down TVC in 2020 will be told one day with gory clips and images. One thing to note, majority of them are being hunted down and executed. So I'm not sure there is somebody who doesn't know what he's saying.
Probably, that's what he said. They have been arrested and prosecuted.
No.
Now, he brought it out, they have been hunted and executed.
So this is not about the law.
Aside the suspension, I think he should be telling us, or telling the police rather, what he knows about those that were executed.
Hunting and execution.
He should be telling them what he knows. It's not enough for Governor Sanwo-Olu to distance or dissociate himself from his media aid. He appointed him to be the face of the government in some particular areas. So if that person who is the image maker of your organization or of the government has come out to make some claims.
Wale Ajetomobi, Senior Special Assistant on Print Media.
So this is not a small guy. He should be telling the police what he knows about those that have been executed.
I think we should take it further. I agree with you that it's not just about suspension. It should, but then, okay, I just will say, do you expect anything to come out from that? Because
we should expect something to come out of this.
Maybe somebody must just be thrown under the bus.
We should Femi, we should come to a place.
Even I agree with you. That's the proper thing to do.
Yeah, and it's not enough that it is.
And the way Nigerian police does their thing, it should be picked. It should have been picked. Or it should have been paraded. Just like the way they would do to enemies of the state.
I understand. Now it's not about this is the proper thing to do. We have come to a place where people need to demand for the proper thing to be done. It's not enough for us to say, oh, this is what should be done, and we just move past it and say, oh, but we know this is Nigeria, it won't be done. We have to demand, be on, in this matter, ensure that the police pick up this guy, interrogate him, and let him explain to them what he means by they have been hunted and executed.
And who are those people that have been hunted? Who did the execution?
Exactly.
I was talking about, because it wasn't just on a WhatsApp status. It went on X to do that. Somebody of his stature, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Print Media. So I align myself with that of my colleague, and we are calling for the proper thing to be done, which is the identification. Either he's going to be invited, either he's going to be arrested. He has something to say, and it's just not a matter of let the small guy just be thrown under the bus. No. It's not what it should be. Lagos State has said it doesn't represent us, but it was representing you until yesterday. And so we went online to do that. We won't be, the police know what to do, and we are demanding that you do what you should do. Mr. Muyiwa Adejobi, that's the police PRO, false PRO. I think he owes Nigerians an explanation about that. And this is not the time to say, oh, the way it came about, the Yachukwudi thing during the election, where the first police PRO, the police PRO had to say, oh, he dispelled it by himself to say it's just a joke. He can't do anything. There's nothing like that. And trust me, yours sincerely, that was how that case ended. The Yachukwudi thing. Yeah. And it's not just about the MC Oluomo and the use of the Yachukwudi thing. It's a proverb, it's a figurative way of speaking to the people who bears that name. And many of those persons, we are not bringing back the wounds of the elections, but many persons who bore that name, who belong to that kind of people, we knew what happened. And even the protests that held from August 1 to 10, there were people who spoke through the megaphone, through speakers in a popular market in Lagos, who said, if there is anybody that will protest, we will show you this is our Lagos, and we are vowed to protest. And nothing has happened. They want people, don't ever try to come out. This is not the kind of nation that I think Mr. Miwa Adejobi, the police IG, Mr. President, everybody will be proud of. We expect you to do the right thing, and we trust you to do it, because we speak to it. Trust us to do that. That will be all, Many things to really talk about today on The Punch, but that will be all on The Punch newspaper.
We head on to Nigerian Tribune at this time. Quite a number of stories here, and that is why we are here today. Yeah. Let's take it from the CBN interest rate increment. This one here says CBN raises interest rates to 25.50%. Up from 25.25%. Revalue the naira, not MPC rate increase. This is coming from experts. Like I always say, only Mr. Cardoso knows what he's doing.
Cardosonomics.
Yeah, so he's trying to curtail inflation, bring down the inflation, and it is continuing to increase the interest rates. But some experts believe this is not the way to go. If you continue to increase the interest rate, you are reducing, the environment for productivity, because people will not really want to go get loans from the banks anymore. But like I said, Mr. Cardoso probably can explain to people why he has done that several times, but people are not convinced that what he's doing at this time is the right choice for us as a nation. And with P8 refineries revival, Tinubu set Warri Kaduna plants to target for NNPC. With P8 refineries revival, Tinubu set Warri Kaduna plants target for NNPC with triple riders here. Tinubu commends Buhari Kyari African Export-Import Bank. NNPC begins struck-out operations of petrol, diesel, kerosene to Nigerian market. Oil marketers, industry exports laud NNPC over delivery of Port Harcourt refinery. Great news, but we hope that we can get greater news by ensuring that other refineries come on board and we have a reduction in the price of fuel. That's what people just want. So all this, if you open all of the refineries and people still have to pay this high for petroleum, then of what essence is that? But it's a good news, and we commend the NNPC for finally making this happen. NBC report on 3.46% GDP growth, decline in unemployment, not a true reflection of current realities. Nachima insists, and you remember we also had Dr. Paul Alaje yesterday, who also spoke to these figures. He said the figures are a ruse. The 3.46% GDP is a ruse because it's not reflecting in the economy. So how come you have GDP growth rate and your people are not feeling it? So he said these figures they are just banded up figures just to create some excitement amongst the people that it's not true. But then it is what it is. We have 3.46% GDP growth, and we hope that it can really translate to us having better lives as people and as Nigerians. FCTA's list of CFO defaulters on page 18 to 137. I mean, Nigerian Tribune had to even bring it out and tell you where to find it in case the very first time, it was put on their paper, you didn't see it. So you don't have any excuse to say, oh, I did not know I was a defaulter or I am a defaulter. Get to pages 18 to 137. That's a whole lot, and find out if you're there. Find out if your name is on the list. I said I have already checked. My name is not on the list. Tell me, is your name on the list?
No.
It's not there.
Where I come from, we don't hold.
You don't. Amazing.
And in Lannister, we always place there.
The top corner. Second year in office, Obasanjo commissions roads in Osun, comments Adeleke. Today, 27th of November, is the second year anniversary of Governor Ademola Adeleke in office as the driver of the state. And we are going to be speaking more to, the progress we have made under Governor Ademola Adeleke and what more can we do? What more can he do for the Osun people? That will be later on the show. Nigeria loses $1.1 billion annually to malaria crisis. Yaya Bello, now in EFCC's custody, may appear in court today. The White Lion is with the eagle now.
That's figurative way of speaking. The White Lion. Yeah. We don't know if it's a dusty white or a off-white or just a kind of white lion, but the lion is in the eagle's nest right now. We wait what the eagle will do with the lion that he has. Because actually, the eagle, in this case, it can only prosecute. They cannot adjudicate on the matter. So people, we expect them to do what they have to do and on time. And they should be ready with all their facts and figures now. Any responsible organization, anti-corruption agency should be ready. It's not the time for you to make him appear in court now and then to be asking for 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, or to keep him there perpetually. No, he's still presumed innocent until he's confirmed pronounced guilty by the court of law. That's the stand right now, irrespective of whatever the allegations are, 16-count charge, against him as well. But, it's good to know many things to really talk about him. And because we have been here to talk about that question, where's Yahya Bello? Where's Yahya Bello? He has been, just like I said, some papers he has been submitted. He has been, released by his successor rather, who felt, okay, maybe it's right time to do the right thing. Okay, so we wait to see how that will pan out. To the nation now. Nation is paper. Petrol rolls out again from Port Harcourt Refinery 5 years after. Port Harcourt Refinery now. Ryder says this is a milestone. Okay. And thrilled to know who others' quick action on Warri Kaduna refineries. The thing is, if all these refineries will resume working, one thing is sure, by the way, they can't function at installed capacity again. It's been years, decades now of their installation. But then let them do what they have to do, because there are persons, there have been workers in that particular refinery that have not been doing nothing, They have not really been producing anything, and they have been on salary. Actually, their payroll has been there. I remember the former Minister of Oil state for petroleum rather, Timi Silva, former governor of Bayelsa, said when he was asked in the program, how about these issue of you retaining of workers that have not been doing anything? You might want to say fairly to this, not because they don't want to do anything, it's because the place is not functional, And he said they just have to keep them. Why? Because there are labor laws. He said if they are disengaged, it's the same NLC, it's the same labor unions that will come on them, for doing that. But then, so how do you balance not functioning for like 5 years and you are being paid for doing
nothing,
for producing nothing. And, that's why many persons say maybe in our climate here, the government should not have any business in running any functional business. Because if it were to be private firms, do you think this will happen for 5 years and nothing? And even it calls to question the capacity, the capabilities of the leaders in that particular sector. The former president, Muhammadu Buhari, was the Minister of Petroleum. In this case, President Tinubu is the Minister of Petroleum. And under him, almost 1 year, 7 months after this has come to be, and we hope it is the genuine one right now. And he has ordered a quick action on Warri Kaduna refineries. Maybe if we could have, imagine if we could have a cumulative 500,000 barrels per day refineries, okay, let's say 2-3 of them are refining crude oil at 500,000 barrels per day. That would go a long way as well, to assuage the pains. Maybe we might be producing something that is relatively cheaper than what Dangote is doing as well, which is where we are found ourselves right now. You could see the beaming smile with, and this particular picture has been circulated by almost all the papers that we have today. Mele Kyari, the man in charge of the NNPCL, and many of his lieutenants to say, finally, we have struck something nice. And here, CBN raising interest rate to 27.5% will curb inflation. We talked about the Cardosonomics earlier, whatever that means. Ensure stability. MPC retains other monetary parameters. All right, and bottom strip, anti-graft agency uncovers 16,800 rebacked. Okay, let me say this again. Anti-graft agency uncovers 16,800 rebacked 50 kg federal government rice palliative. Anti-graft agency uncovers 16,800 rebacked 50 kg federal government rice palliative. These are the issues. Evelyn, you keep hearing the rolling out of rise. There was even this particular one about a price reduction for a 50 kg bag of rice to be sold at 40,000 naira. I'm not sure anybody knows where that's happened. More than a month now, that 50 kg bag of rice, will be sold at 40,000 naira. And I don't know where that has happened. But now this, uncovering of 16,800 rebagged, emphasis on rebagged 50 kg federal government rice palliative. Who are these people? Where has it been found? Maybe these are the issues, because the federal government will say, we are rolling things out, and the people are not saying.
These people are within, those in government. I don't think an ordinary person would want to. Yes, citizens can do that. People can be that funny and greedy. They want to make extra money for themselves. But I'm just saying that we've heard reports. There was a particular woman in Lagos that used palliatives for as birthday souvenirs, and nothing was done. Nothing, actually. So this is not the first time we'll hear palliatives that were given to probably ministers or lawmakers, and these people use it for their own personal use. Sometimes they give it to their family and friends. Cronies. They are not considering those within their constituency, really. And there is no accountability. And some would give it as, this is what I am giving to you. Like, they take the credit for it. Yeah, like the one who have funded it. Yes. So it's not the first time. Yes, it's good that we bring out this report so that we can get awareness about these things, and we can continue to lend our voice to issues like this. But this is not the first time it's happening. The issue is for the agencies, the ministries, the government that is funding these things, bankrolling it, and pushing it to the people, the intended public, to say this is at least to assuage your pains, your hunger, and all of these things. Shouldn't they be asking questions? Is it just for you to just say, we are rolling it out, guys come and take and distribute, and you won't check, you won't ask questions? Because that's what we do. We are more like we have done with you. So either you are even lying, you are not doing anything. Who is checking? Either you are not lying, you have done what you should do. Are you checking if actually intended demography,
they have it.
Yeah.
Because these are the questions as well. 80,000 bags of rice, 6 trailers bag of rice per state, grains, beans, gari, all of these things. And many of us, I don't live in the GRA, at least for now. I've not seen one like this. I've not even seen any logs pass me to say, or in my neighborhood, who are the ones collecting these things? These are the issue.
I mean, we need data. Data. We're not working with data. It's just free for all. You give out the palliatives, and the ministers and lawmakers go
Nobody's
to
checking.
their constituents and just share to their crowds.
Yeah.
You know, what would it take for us to know the number of people we want to give in this particular constituency?
Right.
They say we have a register.
Yeah, social register
That contains the names of the poorest of the poor and, you know, the conditional cash transfer during Buhari's time and all of that. And they said the social register is being updated from time to time.
Exactly.
So how come you do not have the number of people you're giving this palliatives to? You know the number of people you want to give it to, and you know that this palliatives got to them. And after these palliatives have been dispersed, you call.
Yeah.
You make a call through and say, oh, we are calling from so and so ministry. We just want to know if you got your palliatives. How did you get it?
Yeah.
What was the content in it? So that you can know, you can verify and confirm that these palliatives, you know, got to the right people that actually need it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story. I got a particular product. I didn't go to get it from the company. I got it from their agent. You know, someone was selling, so I got it from their agent, and I started using the product. And I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks into when I purchased it, I got a call from their company asking, "Oh, we were told you purchased so product.
Yeah.
We just want to know if you're okay with it, if you're this with it." I said, "Yes, I'm good with it. I'm fine." "Okay, please, would like you to read out the registration, the product number on the product, so that we can continue to, you know, update our system as to this particular product." I read out the product number for them, and, you know, they thanked me for purchasing their product. They asked me the name of the agent because they wanted to know if it was their agent that sold it to me, because it is only their agent that is authorized to sell their product.
And they're following up.
Do you understand me? Now, I was so surprised that after 1 year of purchasing this product, that was just last week, I got a call from this company asking me about the same product. They were like, "Okay, we want to." I said, "Please."
The efficiency.
In fact, the product is not even with me. I've given it to my mom. So I don't even have. They're like, "Okay, we would like you to snap it. We want to know if it's still durable, if it's still maintained."
Yeah.
And I was so thrilled. I was so wowed, because I'm like, really? After 1 year, I've made the purchase. I have even forgotten that I made that purchase.
So imagine that same practice is extended.
Thank you.
And I said things. Now, for the MDAs, government that are saying we have rolled this out.
Yeah.
Who is checking to be sure that, yes, 4,000 bags, 6,000 bags, or the bag is, that announces what has been rolled out? Number two, did it get, and that's what we have been speaking to, the intended audience, because if all these rights that we are hearing is the one that have been rolled out, shipped, you know, talked, whatever be a language, to all these places, at least 1 or 2 or 3 persons should come to the social media, or at least you see that you say, "Oh, Eshe, this is what we got from these." Yeah. But the only thing you get to hear is when a whole community, a whole street, we get 2 things.
And you tell them to share it.
You know, and
everyone
you know what happened during the COVID, yeah. You know, some persons carried, they just, you know, out of anger, dropped it on the road and said, "What exactly do you mean? Are you saying you don't know the kind of people that are there?"
It's insulting.
Do you know? But many persons say, "Okay, drop money in people's account." You will hear government handlers say, "No, how can we do it? How many people have account?" But when it's time for election, you got an update from the from INEC, from telecommunications providers, to say, "Oh, go and vote, not fight." How do these people get my number? You have it. And these are some of the things that we'll talk about as well. So it's what it is actually, and we should do better with the kind of things that we do. All right, many things to really talk about. And here, haunted. Okay, that is not the story. I'm on the Nigerian.
You're on the Nation.
Pardon, on the Nation, right? And here, EFCC may take ex-governor Bello to court in Abuja today. Okay, we want to see that. just like I said, this should not be taken as a persecution. There's a difference between a persecution and a prosecution. The prosecution should be done within the ambit of the law.
Yeah.
And it's not just to I said something, don't just keep him there perpetually. No, there is a law that we must follow. It's just right now, it should be as Nigerian as any other Nigerian. Actually, there is no immunity, anything that he has with him right now. And many things. Nigerians are watching, actually, because that's one thing. They are watching. We are watching. There was a case of a senator. He's a sitting senator, two-time governor of a particular state who had issues, a case to answer or cases to answer with the anti-graft agency, EFCC, and the case dragged for almost 12 years. And you know what happened? At the end of the day, he was sentenced. And he started his sentencing, by the way, his time in prison, but his legal team continued. And at the end of the day, they got that particular judgment vacated or quashed, not because he was set free, not because he was acquitted, but because they said something unusual happened in the prosecution. A vacation judge, or something like that, handled the matter, and he or she, Milot, and in that particular process, was not supposed to be there. So on technicality ground, that case was thrown out, and the person in question was not acquitted. What was told to the EFCC was they should go and start again.
Restart.
This particular individual is a sitting senator, a ranking one right now, and these are the things that we see. So what does that do to anti-graft war, anti-corruption fight? Because the truth of the matter is, when people are, exchanging banters, they will tell you, and we are not, saying this is what people should do, but these are the issues. People will tell you, if you want to, don't steal. But you see people, when they are exchanging banters, will tell you, if you want to steal in Nigeria, steal a lot of money so that you can just dabaru, everything, cases will be thrown out. Till now, that case doesn't have, the way we say it doesn't have head. Here, there is a case against Obanikoro. There is a case against Ayo Fayose. For how many years these things have been done? Do you know since when Ayo Fayose left government?
I'm in severe pain.
Yeah, since that is severe pain, where his candidate, Professor Eleka, lost, to Kayode Fayemi at the time. Even the Kayode Fayemi has been governor of Ekiti State for 8 years.
And another person is in the saddle right now.
He's in the saddle. And you are talking about a man, because of election, prosecution, or something, money exchange hands. And there was the name of Musli Obanikoro, the name of Fayose mentioned in some things. And, the case is still on till tomorrow. And then you want to go to secondary schools. The EFCC have this Catch Them Young initiative. They go to secondary schools and universities telling the young people, don't be involved in crime, which is, catch them young. But they are saying what is happening with the money bags. Yeah. How do we build a nation with that kind of a thing? When politicians know, steal as much as you can. You can truncate the process. You can frustrate the courts. And the courts at this time, I don't want to say anything against Milot, actually.
Yeah, I like what you said that the young ones are seeing. A whole lot of them are really observing what is going on. How can an anti-corruption
case go on for 4, 5, 7 years?
They're observing what is going on.
And you are told to go and start again.
They're observing what is going on. And that's why you see a whole lot of anger in them when EFCC or these anti-graft agencies come to bust, schools, hostels, and clubs, and just pack these young ones like sardines and pack them up to their office,
remove their wigs,
and give them mug shots and all of that, term them suspects, and they observe that it's not the same thing with people that you say have embezzled or money, billions of naira, or have been suspected to have been engaged in fraud, billions of naira. You invite them. They come in company of a governor who probably has less work to do. We are happy that Governor Ododo did not follow Yaya Bello this time. It seems the work in Kogi State is getting more intense. Because at that time, it seems he had less work in his hands to follow a predecessor to honor an invitation. I wonder what that was for. But, these people are observing. The young ones are observing. They know what's going on.
Yeah,
you cannot tell. You cannot change history for them. This is history in the making. This is what makes history. And they are seeing. They say Nigerians don't read that much. They don't read history. What about this history that we are making that people are seeing?
They are saying.
They can never ever forget. If you're saying that they do not know the history of the 90s and the 80s. Yeah. What about this history now that you are making, and they are observing, they see, they know. Right. They know what is going on. These are the things that will actually shape our future. So I believe that what is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander.
That's the way it should be.
If you think this person is a suspect and you've done your investigation, and in one way or the other, this person is found, has been found wanting, or his hands has been stained with fraud or embezzlement, whatever it is, ensure that the right things are done. Yeah. Ensure that the appropriate measures are put in place to ensure the prosecution and probably conviction of this person if he is found guilty by the court of law. It's as simple as that.
Actually, well spoken and well taken, and I align myself with that thought as well. By the way, that will be the end of the airline segment today, and then we'll switch gears as we look into the 2 years of Governor Ademola Adeleke's administration in Osun State. He took over from Adegbega Oyetola of the APC, who was one-time governor. They slugged it out. And in fact, the previous election cycle, 2014, they slugged it out as well. 2018 to 2022. And, but then Adeleke came back in 2022. He became governor, took over from the APC. He's of the PDP. November 27 of each year is the anniversary of any administration, since the time of Rauf Aregbesola, when he took over after that court order, that made him or confirmed him as governor of Osun State. And so what has it been? 2 years of the Adeleke government. What has it done? What was his promise? What is the delivery? We learned, many projects were being in their 16 or 15 days of celebration of the second year anniversary. The drums have been rolled out. Commissioning is being done here and there. Some political bigwigs have been around. Former President Olusegun was there yesterday. Olusegun Obasanjo to commission some projects. So infrastructure, how has it performed? Education, how has it performed? The rule of law, obeying court orders, doing things within the ambit of the law. What is a scorecard? Sports as well, governance in general, the ease of doing business in the state. What has it been? His relationship with the people of the state. What has it been like? Where was Osun State 2 years ago? Where is Osun State now, economically speaking, and many things. So we'll be speaking to that as well, speaking to a critical stakeholder on the matter, to see if truly the kind of progress that Osun people wanted has been made. How about the civil service? Is there a reform? Is there a policy? How about salary remuneration? How constant is that? Promise made? Is it the same thing as promise delivered? These will be the next talking points today, because the government of the day will always score themselves high, actually. But then we have a duty to speak to those issues to see if actually these things are true, and if actually they are doing what they said they will do, or if actually they can do more as well. Governor Ademola Adeleke is the governor right now, at least till 2027. 2026 actually, and of course the politics is hotting up as well. What will he be in the next couple of months? Okay, let me say more than a year from now, the politics will hot up as well, and then governance, as we know, might take a back seat and politics will take over. But now that we still have another year, what will he be? Stay with us. It's the Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. It's been an extensive one on the papers today, speaking to these issues. We'll take a quick break right now. When we return, it will be about the state, Osun State. Stay with us.
pangolins are in crisis. They need our help. Hundreds of pangolins are killed for their meat and scales every year. If we continue this way, tell your family to say no to illegal bushmeat from pangolins because nature protects us all.
Found. Flowing. Fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Eva is pounding current events. From the business. Globally, is it happening? So the biggest way it falls. Past. This is fact. Not the value was fired. Straight up, wrap the bundles of words. Broken and dissected as it is. Except misheard. This is the news as it is.
So is Wild Wild West. Western television pulling out all the stuff so that you don't miss out on every of the happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girl got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be shown on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Funmilayo Ransome Kuti was an educationist and advocate of women's rights. She was recognized for her vitriolic comments against colonial policy of taxation as it affected the Nigerian women. Bere, as fondly addressed by her women followers, Funmilayo championed the initiation of universal adult suffrage, which gave an unprecedented leeway for women to contest elective offices and power to exercise voting rights. Married to a foremost educationist and teacher, Israel Oladotun Ransome Kuti, the first president of Nigeria Union of Teachers, Funmilayo Ransome Kuti was the mother of children who inherited her spirit of activism. Olufela Anbe Ololari, the former, a renowned musical legend. She was the first female student of Abeokuta Grammar School and the first female to own and drive a car in Nigeria. The award recipient of Member of Order of Nigeria MON and Lenin Peace Prize, was born on 25th October 1900 and was killed on 13th April 1978 by rampaging road soldiers in Lagos. Western Spring Television identifies Funmilayo Ransome Kuti as a watershed character in history. All right, thank you for staying with us. As we said earlier, it is the second year anniversary of the emergence of the administration of Governor Ademola Adeleke, November 27th, exactly 2 years. from today. Range of questions. The government have been rolling out the drums to say they have done well in their own right, commissioning projects here and there. Many politicians, leaders have been here yesterday. Many of them were here. When I mean here, Osun State, to commission one project or the other. Now, a range of things we'll discuss. Let's start from the place of promise. Promise made. Is that same promise kept? What are these promises? Health, infrastructure, education, sport, ease of doing business, economy, civil service, reforms. What has it been? How happy are the people right now? Were they happier 2 years ago, or are they happier now? This morning, we'll be speaking with, someone from here who had that same seat 2 years ago, wanted to be governor. And, he's here with us. He went to the ballot with the banner of the SDP then at the time. But then the people said otherwise. But he's here with us, not just as a public affairs analyst, but then as a critical stakeholder in the well-being of the state. And he has never hidden, whatever he feels should be the norm here. We have been joined by architect Goke Omibodun. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Congratulations to Osun State government,
right,
and all the people, including myself, for this second-year administration of the government of Governor Ademola Adeleke.
Right.
And congratulations to the Rave FM team, including myself, for the 9th year anniversary of Rave FM and the second year anniversary of Western Springs Television. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Now, a quick one. It's the second year anniversary of this government. Okay, I remember right here, there was a debate. Many debates were held, in different places. You spoke your mind on it. And when you wanted to be governor, you won the ballot to say, these are your plans. This is what you wanted. The governor right now, incumbent, Ademola Adeleke, debated with the former governor, as well many other persons, to say, this is the kind of Osun we want. Adegoke Itola, the minister right now, he was the governor then, wanted continuity. Ademola Adeleke wanted to come in, you wanted to be governor as well. All of you spoke eloquently about your plans for the state, but the people of Osun State settled for Ademola Adeleke as the second year anniversary of his government. He made different promises, and now, second year, this is the second year, 2 years into that administration. How will you rate, not just as, somebody who ran the elections with him, but somebody who is there? You have your businesses here. You have always been on ground. What has it been? So I'm asking you this as a son of the soil, proper one, 2 years of this government. How will you rate them?
Well, I'll start from the premise that even when I was contesting to be governor of Osun 2 years ago, and which evidently you can confirm from my manifesto, I said something and I still keep saying it. There is no governor that has ever been in Osun State, or actually that could ever be anywhere, that would leave the place exactly the same way he met it. And I alluded to all the achievements of the first governor, Isiaka Ademola Adeleke, definitely because I am a Democrat. I was careful to avoid making mention of the military interregnum, so to say, because they didn't even allow the first governor, Isiaka Adeleke, to complete his term before they came back and give us some military administrators. And then I went on to talk about Governor Bisi Akande and his achievements. He built the government secretariat that we have right now and give more stability to Osun State. Well, let me say that I started with Governor Isiaka Adeleke, who first gave that stability and gave us a sense of being a state on our own and trying to start things from the scratch. And he was able to do a few things and make the psyche of the people accept that democracy was coming home before the military struck.
Right.
And after that was Akande that I've mentioned, and after Governor Bisi Akande, then came Governor Olagbosoye Oyinlola.
Yeah.
And whether you like it or not, Governor Bisi Akande had issues with the public servants. And one of the first things that Governor Oyinlola was able to do was to assuage whatever it was, because government is also about the people. Yeah. So if one was project-oriented and the other came and was a little bit more people-oriented, he was also welcome. And he even went on, was the one that established the Osun State University with all the campuses that it has right now. And he also did a few things in infrastructures with his Oyinko network of roads into different local governments and into different communities. And after Governor Oyinlola came Governor Rauf Aregbesola. And I mean, on the physical landscape, you will still see all those schools that were built by Governor Rauf Aregbesola. You can say, oh, one of them collapsed, and that in fact, a few of them also have issues with the maintenance right now, especially considering the fact that they got a foreign firm, which some of us professionals as architects and estate surveyors and valuers, we didn't like, you know, that he needed to bring people. I can't remember whether it was from Sweden or from Switzerland to be managing those things then, and they were still not well managed. But the truth is that they are still surviving today. And those buildings, when you drive through Osun State, you see them, and not only are they beautiful, ordinarily, they are serving, you know. And then came Governor Gboyega Adeleke. I mean, I'm sorry, Governor Gboyega Oyetola. And when Governor Gboyega Oyetola came, he also tried to improve on certain things that Governor Rauf Aregbesola would not be able to cope with. Whether you like it or not, the repayment of the half salaries of civil servants in Osun State started during the days of Governor Gboyega Oyetola. And I know that I will sound controversial now to the people of this government when I say that when he built the flyover, that first flyover, we thought, okay, just for its introduction of something that we never had before, that was okay, and it solved a few problems of that location, and its utility was appreciated. And I didn't, I said it was okay. I will still count that as one of the achievements of Governor Gboyega Oyetola. But where I said the people of this government find it controversial because they cannot understand the concept of marginal utility, and sometimes they do not want to listen to people who would praise you where you have done well and criticize you where you have not done well. They just want you to be clapping and clapping for them. This present Ademola Adeleke administration. And people like me cannot be intimidated with such. So I still maintain that the Gboyega Oyetola, no, it is not thus named, but the flyover built by Governor Gboyega Oyetola had its own measure of utility, but that marginal utility dropped. After that, we don't want any more flyovers in this state. We want more networks of roads. So having now dealt with that, with the achievement of Governor Gboyega Oyetola, now the real question that you asked me, this present administration has had also its own bunch of achievements. I marvel at the network of roads that are being done right now. At least I see those even around me in Osogbo. But I still maintain, and I will continue to maintain, that those roads should have just been roads without those flyovers, which, in the words of former President Muhammadu Buhari, warning all governors then, even before Governor Ademola Adeleke came into power, that enough of flyovers in this country. You governors are using flyovers to steal the resources of the people. Exact words. And then another governor now comes and starts being so many building so many flyovers in Osun. That's my biggest quarrel with him. But all the other things that they are doing, and why I'm saying so is that this government is the luckiest government that I have seen, but not of Osun State alone. All governors right now are the luckiest set or batch of governors who, after the removal of the oil subsidy, now have multiples of whatever they were getting from the FAC, from Federal Allocation Committee. There is no state now. The least of the states will be getting at least 2.5 times. Some getting up to 3, 4, some up to 5 times what their predecessors in office were getting as monthly allocations. So there is no reason why there should not be the development that we have right now. So I commend the governor for applying some of the funds towards some of these infrastructures. But let me also correct an impression, because I also want them to prove otherwise. There were actually no promises made by the then Senator Ademola Adeleke. He didn't have a manifesto. So it was after he was sworn in that they came up with first a 6-point agenda, which was later trimmed into a 5-point agenda. We live in these states. I mean, I'm a development person, so I always look out for such things. And now that it's been trimmed to a 5-point agenda.
You are saying that with some authority that pre-election, Governor Ademola Adeleke never had a manifesto.
I have said it more than 1 million times. Let them bring it out, because you ask me for mine now, I will bring it out.
Because the handlers of the government always say they have a 5-point agenda.
But I am saying that 6 points later trimmed to 5-point agenda came after he was sworn in. Did you, okay, you are a journalist, and sometimes we need to wave aside some of your ethics. Did you see a copy of the manifesto of Goke Omigbodun when he wanted to be governor? And I ask you, did you see a manifesto of now present Governor Ademola Adeleke? No, answer the question now. These are issues. That was because I was interested in everybody's manifesto. Because at the end of the day, it was not just about Goke Omigbodun becoming governor. It's about good governance in Osun. And that is why, if you still, without sounding immodest, look around all of us that contested that election. How many of us are still manifestly speaking to the sustainable development of Osun State, giving kudos where it is due to the governor, and knocking him otherwise where we think he needs to do things better than they are? Where are the others? How many of us were in the race? One of us is governor now. Where are the others talking to sustainable development of Osun State? So I know what I'm talking about. I was interested in everybody's manifesto. I wanted to know, even I wanted to know, is there something I am missing out in mine that I can learn from others? And that's, in fact, I always had it in mind that the way I operated when I was chairman of the Nigerian Institute of Architects in Osun State, 1 or 2 people also wanted to be chairman with me. And so the moment I became chairman, what exactly did you want to do? I pleaded with one of them to be my vice chairman, and he agreed. And we did everything. So I got what was his idea of what the Institute of Architects in Osun State should be working on. I got all other people that contested into other offices. You wanted to be secretary, but you didn't make it. Okay, let me make you so and so that those ideas you wanted to put in as secretary, we can still work on it together. So that had always been my idea, that if you are about administration, you shouldn't even look at only your own manifesto alone. What is it? So that is why I am so sure of who had or didn't have a manifesto. The Labour Party candidate had a manifesto. Zenith Party candidate had a manifesto. I had a manifesto. Akin Ogunbiyi of, I've forgotten the name of that party with yellow color. Accord had a manifesto, which was the manifesto I wrote for him 4 years before. Those were the only manifestos that people in that race had.
You are saying fairly well, because you gave kudos to say, yes, every administration will always do their bit.
Yes.
You know? And, you know, the picture we have on our screen, that was at the BBC debate.
Oh,
actually.
that's true.
Yeah, and you talked about that how many of, you know, your colleagues then are still speaking to issue, are still interested, you know.
No, man, no, they may be interested and we cannot go into their hearts.
Yeah.
But how many of them are manifestly interested? Look at that array.
Can we have it? Yeah.
Yes, how many of those people there?
Honorable Lasun Yusuf.
That's Lasun Yusuf.
You know,
that's Akin Ogunbiyi.
You know,
that's Boyega Itola. And that's Goke Omigbodun. Okay. And the Ademola Adeleke is on the other end.
So looking at
other than the one that is in government right now, how many of those other people are still addressing issues and still perhaps very resident with us here in
architect, let's...
so I only gave that premise so that you know that when I praise this government, it is what I believe they are doing right. But when we criticize them, that is when I get annoyed with them. They respect me. In fact, they express, we respect Architect Omigbodun when he praises them. But the moment Architect Omigbodun tries to criticize them, they say, he's a politician. That attitude they must do away with.
Fairly well, as you have equally praised other administrations before, Governor Adeleke is on to say, they have done their bit, actually.
They are not
laid the precedents,
honestly,
from the late Isiaka Adeleke. So, but talking about Governor Adeleke now, before we go into the
you mean Governor Ademola Adeleke?
Governor Ademola Adeleke, actually, you know, before Evelyn will come in now, is fairly well in 2 years.
Yes,
you say they have done well.
I will say they have done well, but they have done well because they have had a windfall that their predecessor did not enjoy.
They could have
the allocations that have come into Osun State. In fact, I've always said it is multiples, and I've always guessed it will be about 3 times whatever.
Architect, if I may, architect.
Yes, no. There are people that have this.
There are people that have this argument that yes, the FAC allocation, the allocation to states might have doubled or tripled, but so also
about tripled actually.
Yes, but so
and
also
in some cases,
are the expenditures. The predecessors you're talking about now, if they spent 1 naira to get a bag of cement, or let's talk about infrastructure now. At this time, this particular administration will be spending double or close to triple to buy a bag of cement. Very
beautiful argument, and the way I always want to extend the argument is, why is government thinking only about itself and not about the people they are governing? So if they know that the prices of things have gone up 3-4 times, why are they not giving the civil servants 3-4 times of what they were earning during the days of Boyega Oyetola? Why are they still owing any half salary? Because the value of this money has dropped. So I am not against that argument, but they should extend that argument beyond that reasoning, not to also... That's why I laugh when people are saying, kudos, they want to pay 75,000. I just laugh. What is that 75,000 naira going to do in the life of the worker in Osun? Because very soon, those workers, and mark my word, in another 18 months, please invite me here so that we can discuss again. Whatever that would have been eroded and overtaken by more penury, and will still have to wait for some. That was why I was advocating that the public servants at all levels should have been asking for a minimum of 150,000 and stuck to their guns. Perhaps eventually they would get something like 90,000-100,000. Anybody being paid anything less than 90,000-100,000 naira now is not earning anything.
But one would say it's easy for you to say this because you are not in government. Because
no, I am.
Even the almighty Lagos is paying 85.
I'm saying all of those governors are not being sincere. In fact, I finished one program, and I will not be surprised if somebody calls me again today. I finished one program, and a good friend of mine in this government called me and said, "Hey, okay, you are always saying they should pay. Are you paying 150,000 in Olive Branches schools?" That's why I told you that I also am involved. And I said, no, I am not paying 150,000 naira in Olive Branches schools because I cannot receive fees beyond what you are giving. And what I maintain that all the governors are doing right now, it's not about the governor of Osun alone, honestly. What all the governors are doing right now, is raking up funds that they will use for the next election. So all of the money that should actually, it's not about Osun State alone, stimulate local economies, okay, to make sure that things are better for the people at the grassroots in all states. And that's why federal government will still keep talking, go and ask your state governors what they are doing with the money. But you see, there is a way I always have an answer for even the federal government. I say, yes, we should ask the governors what they are doing with the money, but even federal government is taking 50-something% of.
So you think with what Osun has right now,
is coming to each state,
with what is coming to Osun State right now, let's be specific with Osun State, you think the administration of Governor Ademola Adeleke will have done more than 75,000?
Number one, they should have cleared all of the backlog of half salaries.
They are doing that.
They should have completely cleared, because whatever that money is now has been reduced to about 1/5 its value when it was owed.
Is that what you will have done? Is that what you will have done?
Definitely, with the new level of income into the state, that is the first thing I would have done. And I'm saying so because I recognize I also have people amongst these public servants, and I know how many of my own cousins have died. You know, I used to have a particular cousin that would always come all the way from Ife. We would have lunch together. But what have you come to do? It is still this our backlog of pension and whatever until the man died. You know, why wasn't that backlog paid? And what, again, my quarrel with this administration is that when the money was coming, instead of openly admitting, there is a way they cover up things. I don't like that. Instead of openly admitting to the people that we are having an infrastructure funding which will be out of all the funds that will now be coming to us on account of the removal of oil subsidy, and you are going to enjoy a good life. That would have been nice.
Right,
but they were first doing like local magicians.
Architect, we have
something.
Because we're pressed
we don't know when the money, don't worry about where the money will be coming.
If I may, please,
Architect. In Yoruba parlance, we call that pidon.
Let's look at the...
But we all know where the money eventually came from.
Let's quickly look at the 5-point agenda, because we have less than 4 minutes to go at this time. Yes.
Okay.
You have spoken to the welfare of workers and pensioners, because that was one of the points in the 5-point agenda. He says that he is going to ensure the first line chart for workers' welfare, salaries, gratuities, and pensions. Do you think he is doing well with that?
I've told you he hasn't done too badly, but he could do better because he has enough resources to actually have done better. The best thing that he can do right now, before this year runs out, let all backlog of be paid.
Okay.
I mean, because the money has been devalued. You are claiming that the money has been devalued for you as governor to buy cement, to do your flyovers. So you don't think that the money has also been devalued for the family of that my cousin that died to do anything?
Okay. Now, boosting state economy by business partnering and support for business class. Osun money serving Osun people through homegrown infrastructure policy.
Well, I think they are not doing too badly on that, because I see a lot of the roads, and I see the people.
But you mentioned that the flyovers are not necessary.
No. I've told you that the roads are good, and they could just have had many more roads rather than the flyover.
You don't think Governor Adeleke is looking at a bigger picture in the future?
What bigger picture are you looking at? You first build an economy to attract that bigger picture.
Right.
I mean, you don't have any economy. You are building. How many vehicles are in Osun State right now? All of the vehicles in Osun State, passing through all of the roads in Osun State, are not as many, according to statistics that I've checked, as the number of vehicles that pass through Awolowo Road in Ikeja every day. And yet, do you see any flyover there? They only have roundabouts and so many side roads into, I've forgotten the names of those streets now. I left Lagos quite a while now. And so there are so many outlets that you can get into without getting to the roundabout. That's what we should have done here. So I commend them for the roads that they are doing. But my take is that no more flyover. And if we don't continue to hammer that, because I was told that, because when I was talking about flyover, they said when the people of Ife saw that they were building flyovers in Osogbo, they went to meet the governor and they asked for and I said, hey, if we are not careful, a government that didn't have a manifesto and is only being reactive, and they came from Ife and said, we want flyover, and instead of giving them electricity at Garage Yolode, you are giving them flyover in Ife. Very soon, then people of Iragbiji will ask for flyover, people of Igbajo will ask, and then we will just have flyovers and no sustainable economy to back all of the flyovers.
All right, the point is people-focused social policy through skill-based education, affordable healthcare, state security, and social security support.
I think they're also doing a few things in that respect, honestly, but nobody can be perfect. Nobody can get it all.
Right.
Because, for instance, I will still expect, in this case too, that you're talking of security. People are still not secure enough to go to the farms. I know we still talk of agro-based industrialization, which is the last point. You know, so we don't yet have the security. Talking of education,
but
primary and second, just wait.
When we say Osun is relatively safe, why can't you? Is there any part of this state that people can go to farm?
Yes, there are many parts of the state that people cannot yet go to the farm.
Because of roads or insecurity?
No, it's more of insecurity. That's the truth of the matter. And you yourself know that there are, even as recently as about 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, I still met an Oba who wore a face cap, you know. He had been doing that for a while, and I said, Kabiyesi, the town should be safe enough for you now to come and let people know that. He said no. When he's coming from Ijesha land, he wears face cap, jeans, and t-shirt so that nobody can know he's a traditional. Nobody wants to be kidnapped. That's the truth of the matter. Right. So people have been very, very careful about what they do, and I maintain that what they should do now. I'm glad when I listened to the governor's speech today that he still spoke again about wanting to have private partnership on electricity. But if I were in his shoes, I would first have one plant, government-owned, that will take care of government facilities in the state capital and let a few members of the community also tap from that. It is that will be like a regulatory program to know what others will now be doing when they also come in, because we will know where the shoe pinches with the little one that the state is running, and the state will be able to use that for its own immediate facilities.
We have to run now, but on a scale of 1 to 100, if you were to score the Ademola Adeleke for their efforts in the past 2 years, what will it be for you?
I will still give him 50%, honestly.
That's average.
That's a pass mark. That's a pass mark. Why do people always...
All right,
and you know,
that's a pass
someone
mark.
will say, if at...
and he's just 50% into his tenure too. I mean, so it's in this part of the world. I know that in America too, people want to score 98%, 100%. A 50% pass mark is not a bad pass mark.
So he's doing well.
He's not doing badly. He can do better. I've always praised him in those areas where he's doing well.
You know, your party
He is doing well, but can do better.
2 years ago, you wanted to be governor, and the people chose Ademola Adeleke. 2026 is almost there. Do you still have that?
No, I'm not likely to come out now because we have our various sentiments in Osun State, West Local. Okay. I came out then because I saw that Governor Gboyega Oyetola still wanted to have an extension of whatever we...
So as it is, you are done?
For the governorship in this coming tenure,
2026,
I am likely to support somebody from the West.
And who would that be?
That will be determined by so many factors.
Irrespective of the party?
Oh, irrespective of the party for now, because I am a member of Afenifere.
We'll speak to
and the Afenifere would always determine so many things. I supported Peter Obi for the presidency the other time.
We have to go.
Because Afenifere said you should support
we have to run. And you know, talking about...
And I should also let you know that Afenifere asked me to contest on the platform of the party floated by Afenifere, the Social Development...
Social Democratic Party.
Social Democratic Party.
Very well.
That's why I
as you said, I remember what former Governor Oyinola said when the talk of the Afenifere thing was very loud. Who said, meaning but I want to tell you thank you, and it's about the betterment of the state, the state of the living space. Thank you. Architect Goke Omigbodu has been with us. Thank you, sir. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate you bringing me here.
We should go. Thank you for being a part of our world. We'll make a return tomorrow for another edition. My name is Evelyn Ohiola.
All right, I'm Femi Ojo. He's my name. We'll make a return tomorrow, God willing. Bye.
Can you imagine the feeling when you get your news as they break with facts and clarity? Our news are reported as it is.
In Africa, and all those who masterminded the way it happened will have to pay a price. Enjoy
Western programs, projecting culture and tradition to the world. Videos break every hour for your update.
Fellow Nigeria, how to improve your welfare is of paramount importance to me.
Produced and brought to you in a unique way never before seen.